many people, they are confused about GFCF diet, and a lot of recommendation they read from different ways, different sites, and many consultants. So people want to know the science behind GFCF diet.
So let's first understand what is a linkage of our gut, our intestines with our brain. Very important thing to understand before going ahead with any type of complicated or simple diets. So right from the generations behind, it is said that in Marathi we hear that menducha rasta potakudun jato. That means everything towards brain is driven from our tummy. So whatever we eat is affecting our brain. So that is called as a gut-brain axis. For example, as we were discussing about this chocolate, when we eat a chocolate, that taste and then the satiation and high because of that chocolate stimulates the brain. So from gut, the brain gets stimulated. And other way around also, when you eat heavy food, Moong ka halwa kha liya with lots of ghee, what is going to happen? You start dozing off. The brain now stops functioning and it keeps the body down. Again, there is a relation of gut-brain axis. Brain craves for a food and then we eat, and brain gives order to the gut, and that is how the gut and brain are working together in hand in good direction as well and in the bad direction. Now the concept comes not only for autism, it is true for ADHD also, it is true for many other diseases also, that if our gut is given attacked, I say they use the word attacked, by the food stuff, which if is not completely digested or abnormally digested, it will create some products, incompletely digested products. They enter the intestine. That is a problem in children with autism. It is said that our intestines, who should be accepting only the good things inside, they accept this problematic, that is called as a leaky gut. This leaky gut accepts the abnormal foodstuff inside. For example, here, let's take an example for the milk. The milk is incompletely digested in the gut, and so incompletely digested milk products, they go into the blood. From the gut, they go into the blood, and from blood, it goes to the brain. And when they reach the brain, you'll be surprised. What is their action? The action is like morphine, like opioids. Opioids are drugs, what we call it a drug addiction, in the line of heroin and all, and that gives the brain a high. Yeah, I'm feeling better. And this excitement, it irritates the brain cell. And why it is happening? Because these products which are incompletely digested milk products are creating those issues. And that is why the casein which is in the milk is very harsh. Harsh means injurious to our digestive system, especially to the children with autism. And when they go into the tummy and then they create problems, they are very difficult to digest. And that is why casein-free, GF stands for gluten-free, casein-free. So we discussed about casein, which is a milk protein. Well, now let's discuss about gluten. Scientists have found out that gluten is actually a combination of two proteins. So what are the proteins? One is a gliadin, 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 and the other is glutenin. Forget about the name, आप कुछ भी बोल सकते हो. But they are there in wheat, rava, maida, what we call, that is semolins, malt, even barley, it contains gluten, rye, it contains gluten. And when these proteins, when they are ingested in high amount, sometimes, not all, now let's take this very clearly, all children may not be having a gluten sensitivity. These proteins, they again behave like the what we discussed about the milk protein, which are incomplete product, incompletely digested product. They enter the gut, which is leaky, problematic, and which is seen in some cases of autism, not all, I repeat. And then they create irritation to the brain. Irritated brain behaves, goes on hyperactivity, restlessness, and more importantly, repetitive activities. So repetitive behaviors and these incompletely digested products, they create problem. And that is why in select cases, with the help of nutrition consultants, like Ashwini helps people around, we can help these people, children, to work upon GFCF. But it is to be taken very carefully, and we need to be working on it in the over the time. So now let's discuss how we can achieve this GFCF diet in a simpler way. Ashwini.
Yes. So one of the important thing, many a times, as it is said, to reduce the repetitive behavior, gluten-free, casein-free should be followed. So simpler tips what parents can follow. First is totally don't starve your child, but don't try to be harsh. Follow simple things like in our diet, what is the commonest thing? Roti and the rice, along with that dal and the sabji. So simpler one, instead of gehu ki roti, you can switch over to jowar, bajra, ragi, inki roti. As it is called in Marathi, it is bhakri, because in jowar and bajra comparatively gluten percentage is less. And in ragi, you can definitely use as a substitute for specifically the gluten part, which comes in the wheat. Secondly, also you can use the shingada, as it is called as the water chestnut. So it is very much useful. You can make shingada ka thalipit, shingada ka roti as per the taste that your child likes. Then rice-based food, all are accepted. In that, different types of rice you can do, beginning from dal rice to khichdi, the pulao, whatever you want to make. You can give them definitely. You can give all types of dal, because I have seen many parents, they stop the wheat, they stop the milk, they stop the dal, and everything they stop, and the child gets starved. So you can give rice, you can give ragi, jowar, bajra, you can give all types of dal, you can give all types of sprouts also. Now going ahead, you can also give the rasgira, that is rasgira ki roti you can make, thalipit you can make, laddu you can make. And here I will say, instead of sugar, add the jaggery in the rasgira laddu. So as I have said, in the gluten option, we can have these things. And specifically, don't starve your child, but try to smartly replace the food items which are troubling. And so for that purpose, at least 2-3 weeks, parents need to stop that gluten containing foods, then replace with other foods. Observe, are the things which are really troublesome, like hyperactivity, irritability, lack of focus is reducing, then they can go ahead. Similarly, when you are making ghee, you have to avoid the upper and lower part. You can take the middle liquid part. Now coming with the snacks option, what to give for the snacks? So in the snacks, they can give poha. Similarly, in the snacks, you can give certain things like medu vada, that is the you are preparing from urad dal. Then similarly, you can give chiwda, which is homemade, shev, fafda from Gujarati diet, dhokla can be given, muthia, which if they are made with the jowar flour, you can definitely give. Then in the cutlets, avoid breadcrumbs, but you can make cutlets definitely. And then sabudana khichdi, there is the list is endless. You can go ahead. Now comes the question about sweets. We usually tell that there should not be a rapid surge of the sugar. So for that purpose, you need to avoid all the milk-based mithai. Okay, so barfis and pedhas should be avoided. But which mithai you can give? Simpler things. Besan ki laddu you can give. Moong ka halwa you can give. Then the Mysore pak, Chikki. There are so many things. And from Maharashtrian diet, specifically you can give Modak. Now after this, one more point I forgot to mention in the especially gluten-free. Many parents can opt for the specific flour, that is gluten-free atta or multigrain atta. So these are the different options. Now let's go ahead with after gluten milk. When the moment some milk comes, do you want to add?
I always say that we are all very much possessive about milk, and I am requesting all of you that please think about your own milk intake, then think about milk. हम क्या सोचते हैं कि बच्चे के लिए मिल्क के बगैर बच्चा बढ़ ही नहीं सकता. It is not so. Mother का milk in the first year is very important. But I always tell people, and most of you must have heard from me again and again, that human beings are the only ones. Human beings are the only ones which make their children to drink milk of some other animal. I am not seeing a tiger having buffalo milk for their own kids. So be very gentle about milk. Is it that good? And as if you look at into the history of it, it is not only milk. There are some good products of the milk, like buttermilk, which also we want to discuss about. It contains prebiotics and all that. So they may be better. Ghee can be a good idea to remove the casein. So that may be another way to look at the milk, reducing the milk. But are there any other options of giving milk?
Now let's go for the casein-free diet. So when we say casein-free diet, the first question is which milk to be given? Do we give the cow's milk, buffalo milk, A1, A2? Simpler. First is reduce the quantity of milk to minimum. Observe whether the child's complaints are getting reduced. If they are getting reduced, then it's a wonderful option. But many options pop out like hazelnut, 7-grain milk, the oat milk, the hemp milk, but they are not practical. The rice milk is also not so easy. But the three simple things that parent can probably follow. One is the almond milk, second is the coconut milk, and third is the soy milk. Because soy milk is available in a Tetra Pak, coconut milk and almond milk parents can prepare at home, and definitely casein gets eliminated with this. So this is the way they can do. But remember, if you are following almond milk, but if you are giving cheese and paneer, then you are not following casein-free diet. So when you want to do casein-free diet, eliminate milk totally and milk products also. So you need to eliminate ice creams, you need to eliminate cheese, paneer, and all those milk-based mithais, and follow simpler things.
यहाँ पे और एक है कि as a man was telling कि for a 10 to 20 kg kid, what is actually related? Around we require 100 ml of milk only. So before going ahead with all this, it's a very complicated. I always tell, GFCF diet is not very easy. It is a stress on the life of the burden for the mother as a child. So GFCF करने के पहले क्या करो? दूध कम ही करो. Make it 100 ml. ये पहले करो. Make it reduced, and then instead of doing only on milk, try to work upon buttermilk, try to work upon curd. Because to becoming 100% GFCF, now the research comes in. There are n number of big researchers which are now saying boldly that GFCF diet is not the answer. GFCF diet दिया और autism ठीक हो गया, ये होने वाला नहीं है. In milk, one more thing I wanted to answer is about that camel milk. Especially this particular camel milk contains two different chemicals. These two chemicals are supposed to be stabilizing and easy to digest, and they don't create similar cows or buffalo. That is what is said about the camel milk. But interesting part, if the camel milk is live, जिस मिनट पे हम कैमल मिल्क को बॉईल करने वाले, ये दोनों प्रोडक्ट डीनेचर होने वाले हैं. तो कैमल मिल्क का सेफ्टी करने के लिए तो बॉईल करना पड़ेगा. बॉईल किया तो उसका फायदा नहीं है, और बॉईल न करते हुए डायरेक्ट पिलाने की कोशिश तो इन्फेक्शन और अनसेफ प्रोडक्शन होने वाले. सो कैमल मिल्क से बचे रहे. कैमल के कुछ और इंटरेस्टिंग कंसेप्ट है जो अपने बच्चे को देना चाहिए. वो कैमल की सबसे बड़ी आदत है पानी पिलाओ. ये पानी पीते रहो, and then what the camel survives in the desert, similarly your child will survive when the water intake is good.
So the take home points for the parents. GFCF diet totally doesn't cure autism, but some of the symptoms, if parents find they are getting alleviated, that is reduced with this particular either gluten-free, either casein-free or gluten-free casein-free diet, then they can follow. But that has to be done under the guidance of.
So what usually madam does, she tells people to work on one part first. चलो आप पहले casein-free पे काम करो, milk products पे काम करो, and observe for 6 weeks. 6 weeks, I repeat, 6 weeks we have to work and observe. सच्ची में उसको फायदा हो रहा है क्या? Then and then only continue with the casein-free part. बाद में try to work upon gluten-free, and then only you can decide whether this particular diet is. I will just take an example. One particular diet is suitable for you or not. But I request people, don't do it just from reading or listening to us also. Trying to do such diets without a consultation and without monitoring, उसका weight देखना है, if जरूरत पड़े तो blood की investigations करना है, you have to monitor the quality of skin, quality of, there are lots of things which one should be looking at before going for this diet. So one of the very simple sentences, be gentle.